Hi everyone, here I am again. Last time I made a game about time rewind. Today I'm gonna talk about another topic. The main reason I want to make this video is that party games have become increasingly popular in recent years. These party games basically originated from online fights in arcades and later local battles on home consoles. Whether it's old games like Catalyst and Dinosaurs, or recent games like Overcooked, Party Animals, they all gain huge popularities among gamers. It just so happens that Unity has come out with a new input system in 2020, which natively solves many of the problems that we used to need to deal with manually. So here I try to use a new input system to make a simple multiplayer demo and share the most basic way to use this new system. This game is very simple. Two people control one character each, and if you corner the other, you can score points. It's kind of like a battle gyro. First, import assets. Create the game object we need for the player and give it an easily recognizable color. Here I've imported a circle as an alternative image, which I will replace with a better looking art resource once the basic functions are done. At the time of this video, the input system will not be integrated into the project by default, so we need to import ourselves. Here we need to open the window option and click on the package manager. Type in input and then we will find the input system. Probably gonna need a while because internet. After we click install, Unity will ask you to restart. After restarting the project, open the project settings and find input system. Create a setting file and then add gamepad and keyboard to the supportive device. For input system, Unity uses a configuration file called input action to keep track of the key information. So we need to right click, create a new input action and double click to edit it. Once it's open, create a new action map and then we need to add the action we want and to bind the corresponding key to it. Here I first recreated the action that corresponds to the move and then selected the value as an action type. Then I bind the left stick of the controller as one of the inputs. The next step is to bind the keyboard, where you need to select 2D composite. Here the 4 directions of each 2D vector will appear. Click on path, then click to listen. Press the key you want to bind and Unity will automatically record it for you. After this, collect save assets. You can also select autosave and Unity will automatically save all operations. Close the window and add a player input component to the player and you'll see a line underneath says we'll send message to game object blah 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 blah. So here we will drag input action asset we just created, select another object randomly and click back. You can see message has an on move. We need to add every necessary component for player movement. Besides of the player controller code we just created and the glider, we also need to add rigid body and remove gravity. Then it's coding time. Open player controller. The most important thing here is to use onMove, which is the new function that appeared after adding the input asset. Don't forget that to use this function, you need to add Unity Engine input system namespace. The onMove can get its value from corresponding keys. After getting this value, we now can write the actual move function. At this point, if we run the game, we can see the core mechanism are basically done. Adjusting some parameters such as resistance and inertia for the rigid body to make it move more naturally. We need to make sure players can only move in a fixed area, so we need to add some colliders to stop players from flying out of the screen. The new input system, as mentioned before, makes very easy to implement local co-op. Just create a new game object with the player input manager on it, make it as a prefab and drag it into input manager and press any button to the different controller, it will automatically generate player prefab. However, this can cause a problem. The generated player have the same initial states, whether its position or something else. So some additional code has been added to distinguish two players. Here I used player index and changed player position and color. It's just to make simple differences before we change player sprite. So please don't judge my stupid code. After the player part is done, we need to add a simple UI to give player instructions and player scores. I also added the function for players to gain points after hitting the rival to walls. So here's how current games runs. After this, I changed the player sprite and background, then altered the background collider shape to match the background. Then I made some small adjustments to my code and calculates the player orientations using the vector values entered as player moves. So this is the final version of my demo. This video is only the introduction of most basic input controls, but I hope it inspires you to explore more. Thanks again for watching. I will see you next video.